You ever get absolutely wrecked in an MVC2 match on your Arcade1up cabinet and wondered if the monitor is to blame for those dropped combos and sluggish reaction times? The culprit is high input lag, brought to you in part by the factory monitor. That's what's causing you to get wrecked more than usual. So, let's fix that issue and be less salty about it. Which brings me to this right here. It's a Dell E1715S monitor. This is going to replace the stock factory monitor in my setup, and it'll alleviate a lot of those frustrations with the input lag that the factory monitor has. But the main reason why I chose this was because this thing only has 5 milliseconds of input lag. Just 5. Anything that's 5 and below is ideal for fighting games and even tournament standard in some cases. This is a night and day difference when it's compared to the slow 14 milliseconds on the factory BOE monitor that you get when you buy this thing. But anyway, let's unbox this. There we go. That's much better. So some more features this monitor has is that it's 17 inches, it's an LED screen, and I got a pretty good deal on this for about $70 brand new and sealed on eBay. If you can find this brand new, get it. And if you can't, a refurbished one or even a used one will work just fine. And even though this isn't a bigger monitor upgrade, it makes up for this with its very fast 5 millisecond reaction time. But also, you won't need to buy any special adapter kits or anything to make this fit. This will be a direct swap in since this monitor is the same size as the factory one and it should go in relatively easily. So, let's make this thing work with the arcade cabinet now and get this thing started. Set up your surface area with a soft cloth or a towel. Now lay the Dell monitor face first and remove the screws from the back. Carefully pry off the frame until it completely pops off. Be patient with this step as it will take some time to do this, but you'll get there. You'll then carefully remove the tape that is holding the screen and unplug the 2 cables attached to it. Take your time with this too. You can then remove the screen from the rest of the encasing and it's now officially decased. Toss the excess and you'll have the Dell screen in its most purest form. All bare like what you see here, front and back. Now we're going to start unscrewing stuff from the cabinet, so let's start off with removing the control board with the awesome Sanwa buttons and joysticks from my earlier videos. Remember those? Turn the cabinet around, unscrew what's on the backboard to, you guessed it, reveal the contents. Unplug everything from the back of the factory monitor frame, unscrew the Wi-Fi antenna, and then remove the screws and brackets that hold up the wooden frame. Don't worry, it won't fall. The wooden grooves it's inserted into will still hold it up. Now choose a panel you'll unscrew from and lay the cabinet on its side. We're now halfway through the process. Now unscrew everything on one panel up until you get to the riser line, and then lift the panel off. Now we can remove the factory monitor and its wooden bracket from the groove. Oh, and I guess I still had to untape the speaker cord. Now lay the factory monitor face up and remove the screws to the bezel and it comes right off. The factory BOE screen is now exposed. Remove these 8 front screws from the frame holding the screen and carefully remove the metal frame from the wooden one. Now unscrew these side screws so you can remove the factory screen. There's 2 on each side. Then carefully remove some more tape and unplug the wires connected to the factory screen. It's now separated from the metal frame. You can discard this screen now, keep it, or do whatever you want with it. It's now time to swap in the Dell screen into the metal frame. So connect the metal frame's cables to the Dell screen now and fit the new screen to the frame. Now, let's put the side screws back in.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
So here's where I hit a little bit of a problem. When I was trying to put the side screws back on, I had noticed the holes on the metal frame were not aligning with the Dell monitor's holes. So I had to drill some new holes into the frame so that the screws would align with the Dell screen. But a disclaimer, if you're going to do this mod, be aware that you will run into this issue and have to drill new holes into the frame. At least on the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cabinet. But anyway, I drilled new holes off camera and it worked out as you see here with me putting the side screws in. Now put the metal frame back into the wooden frame and re-screw the stuff that holds these together. Give the screen a good wipe down and put the bezel back on. Now let's test the screen to see if it works. And the screen works, but I hit another snag. See this? There's a 1/2 inch tall portion of the screen duplicating itself towards the bottom. I then found out the Dell monitor has a 5:4 aspect ratio while the original one has a 4:3. That's what's causing this anomaly to happen. But not to worry, I'll just have to drill some new holes in the wooden frame and move the bezel up a 1/2 inch so it looks like a 4:3. So let's do that. So put the frame back down, move the bezel up, mark your new pilot holes, and then start drilling. Screw the bezel back on and let's see if moving it up did the trick. Here's the moment of truth. And it looks great. The duplicated portion is covered up, so let's put the cabinet back together now. So put everything back to how you found it, and boom! We have a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 arcade cabinet with a monitor that has a 5 millisecond reaction time. I have a few more ideas on how to mod this cabinet further, but you'll just have to stay tuned. I will say, though, that it is pretty cool seeing this cabinet evolve into what it is now and making it better in each video. But anyway, I hope you found some value out of this, and I'll see you in the next one. I love you.